The 2013 NFL Draft was a very unique draft that severely lacked skill position players, as it was the first draft in the 21st century where not one quarterback went in the top 10 picks. But it did look like a great year to get some beef in the trenches, with the first 7 picks going to linemen on one side of the ball or the other. Out of the 10 players selected of the top 10 of the 2013 draft, 3 have made a Pro Bowl and only 1 is still on an NFL roster. Because of the lack of skill position players, analysts found the 2013 draft difficult to predict, and there wasn't a surefire prospect. Many consider this one of the worst drafts of the past quarter century. Now, without further ado, here's what happened to the top 10 picks from the 2013 NFL Draft. With the first pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs selected Eric Fisher. Fisher was the first of 5 offensive linemen selected in the top 10. Since the merger, there have only been 3 offensive linemen picked first overall, the other 2 being Jake Long and Orlando Pace. Many analysts had Kansas City going with Luke Joeckel, but ultimately they got their guy in Fisher. Fisher was arguably the top left tackle prospect of this draft and opened scout sides with his pro caliber frame and eye-popping agility. Pre-draft, Eric Fisher drew comparisons to 49ers legend Joe Staley, another former Central Michigan lineman. Coming into his rookie year, Kansas City moved Eric Fisher to right tackle. In his rookie season, he allowed 7 sacks, 35 hurries, and according to PFF, he ranked 70th overall out of all qualified tackles. Fisher struggled the next few seasons at left tackle for the Chiefs and was starting to look like a colossal bust at the number 1 overall pick. In the divisional round of the 2016 playoffs against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Chiefs were down 18-10 in the fourth quarter. Following a successful 2-point conversion, Fisher was called on a holding penalty that resulted in a loss of 10 yards. On the second attempt from the Steelers' 12-yard line, the Chiefs failed for the 2-point conversion, resulting in their elimination from the playoffs as they lost to the Steelers by a score of 18-16. Following a tragic letdown, Fisher was able to rebound in dramatic fashion for Kansas City by making the Pro Bowl in 2018, 2020, and winning the Super Bowl in 2020 with Patrick Mahomes. In 2021, Fisher suffered a torn Achilles against the Bills in the AFC Championship. And a few months later, he was released by the Chiefs. Then in 2021, he signed a 1-year deal with the Colts. And now in 2022, he is currently a free agent. With the second pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars selected Luke Joeckel. Many scouts had Joeckel as the number 1 pick in the draft. Joeckel had solidified himself as a top 5 pick by his play in college, being Johnny Manziel's blindside protector and winning the Outland Trophy, awarded the nation's top college football lineman, and was named a consensus All-American. One NFL GM made this statement, claiming he is better than Joe Thomas and Matt Khalil. Coming into his rookie year, he only played 5 games after suffering an ankle injury. In 2014, his first full year of starting, PFF viewed him as one of the worst offensive tackles in the NFL and held him responsible for 8 quarterback sacks. The following few years were not much better for Joeckel, and Jacksonville declined his 5th-year option. Shortly in his last stint with Jacksonville, he suffered a knee injury, putting him back on IR. He then hit free agency and signed a 1-year deal with the Seahawks, starting 11 games at left guard. That was the last of Luke Joeckel in the NFL, and in 2019, graduated with a business degree and is now in commercial real estate. With the 3rd pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins selected Dion Jordan. Jordan clocked in at 6'6", 250 pounds, and ran a 4.6 40. Scouts fell in love with his upside and insane athleticism, which resulted in him being a top 3 pick. Jordan's rookie year was pretty forgettable, as he recorded only 26 tackles and 2 sacks. In 2014, Jordan was suspended for the first 4 games of the season for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing substance policy. Later in 2014, he once again violated the drug policy and was given an additional 2-game suspension. He ended up playing 10 games in 2014 with underwhelming play, and at this point, he was starting to look like a major miss by the Dolphins. Coming into 2015, he was once again hit by the NFL for diluting a drug test, and the NFL threw him in a year-long suspension. Coming into 2017, he was signed by the Seattle Seahawks, starting the season on the IR with a knee injury. On November 8th, the Seahawks activated Jordan and had the highlight of his career, playing in 5 games, recording 4 sacks. In 2018, Jordan played 12 games for Seattle, but then again was placed on IR for knee surgery and in 2019 was suspended for 10 games due to the usage of Adderall. Later, landing on the Oakland Raiders, and after a short stint with Oakland, he had one more stop with the San Francisco 49ers, playing 13 games, and that being the last time he touched an NFL field. The fourth pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles selected Lane Johnson. Johnson was a high school QB and backup at his junior college before going to Oklahoma. Once he started at left tackle in 2012 for the Sooners, he was reliable as ever, and scouts saw the potential in Johnson to grow into a franchise tackle due to his athleticism, strength, and solid technique despite his lack of experience. Johnson had an okay rookie season with the Eagles as he helped them reach an NFC East crown, but according to PFF, was named the 26th best right tackle. Before the 2014 season, Johnson was slapped with a 4-game suspension after using performance-enhancing drugs. But since hitting the field in 2014, he has not looked back, as he's only allowed 1 sack in the 14 games he played in 2014 and graded as the second best right tackle in the league. Johnson is the success story out of this top 10 draft group. He is a 3-time Pro Bowl tackle and won a Super Bowl with the Eagles as well. And now in 2022, he's playing his best football as of yet, leading the Eagles' top-ranked offensive line, and he hasn't given up a sack since Week 11 of the 2020 season. He has a real chance to break Andrew Whitworth's record, held for the most consecutive pass plays without allowing a sack. With the 5th overall pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions selected Ezekiel Ansah. Ansah was seen as a boom-or-bust prospect, as the Ghana prodigy had only discovered football 3 years prior to hearing his name called on draft day. Scouts had fallen in love with his untapped potential upside and his crazy athletic traits. Ansah had a great rookie year for Detroit, recording 8 sacks in 14 games, leading all rookies in sacks. In 2015, Ansah had his breakout season, recording 14.5 sacks, making the Pro Bowl, and being named 43rd on the NFL Top 100 Players of 2015. In 2016, Ansah took a step back, missing 3 games and only recording 2 total sacks. Early in 2017, Ansah was back on track, recording 3 sacks on Monday Night Football against the New York Giants and finishing the season with 12 total sacks. Coming into 2018, the Lions slapped Ansah with the franchise tag, but he unfortunately only played in 7 games before hitting the open market. He then signed with the Seahawks on a 1-year deal, but dealt with nagging injuries and only registered 2.5 sacks as a situational pass rusher for Seattle. Most recently, he signed a 1-year deal with San Francisco and only played in 2 games before suffering a torn biceps and was placed on IR. With the 6th overall pick in the 2013 draft, the Cleveland Browns selected Barkevious Mingo. Mingo, like Jordan, was another guy who was drafted on his physical tools, even though he failed to show much growth in his game at LSU. A typical boom or bust product, he found himself in the top 10 and was compared to NFL legend DeMarcus Ware. Mingo had a decent rookie season, finishing with 39 solo tackles, 5 sacks, and 4 pass deflections while playing in a limited role. His next 2 seasons, though, did not go according to plan, and Cleveland shipped him off to New England in 2016 for a 5th-round pick. While playing mostly special teams in New England, he did collect a Super Bowl ring, and in 2017 signed a deal with the Colts, playing mostly as a backup. Then in 2018, he signed a 2-year deal with Seattle, winning the starting job, but overall did not impress and was shipped out of Seattle to Houston as a piece of the Jadeveon Clowney trade. After recording 6 total tackles in 16 games for Houston, he next signed with Chicago, and after another underwhelming year, he signed his most recent contract with the Falcons, but shortly after had his contract terminated following his arrest. With the 7th overall pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals selected Jonathan Cooper. Seen as a phenomenal athlete at the guard position with excellent technique and footwork, the All-American saw his name in the top 10, even though he played at a devalued position, as he was seen as a safe pick. In his rookie year against the Chargers in a preseason game, Cooper broke his left tibia, which put him on IR. And it has been speculated he has never been the same player following his injury. Battling more injuries coming into 2014, Cooper got forced into the starting lineup due to injuries on the Cardinals and struggled in his limited playing time as he never looked fully healthy. He started 10 games at right tackle in 2015, but then suffered another injury in Week 10, then returned as a backup for the remainder of the season. Early in 2016, Cooper was shipped off to New England, a part of the Chandler Jones trade. Cooper's highlight moment came when he played for the Great Wall of Dallas in 2017. He started a career-high 13 games with decent play, but unfortunately suffered another injury in the season finale against Philadelphia. Following Dallas, he was signed by the 49ers, but was limited with his surgically repaired knee and cut before opening day. And his last playing time on the field came with the Washington Redskins, as he started 4 games and then once again suffered another brutal injury, tearing his bicep muscle. And most recently, signed with the Oakland Raiders after being inactive for the first 2 games due to injury, he was released. With the 8th overall pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the St. Louis Rams selected Tavon Austin. Seen as the best skill position player in the draft with electric speed and elite acceleration, Austin was a home run threat and put up electric numbers in highlight reel moments while playing at West Virginia with Geno Smith. In Austin's rookie year with the Rams, he flashed his big playability in spurts, specifically on special teams, as he was named the NFC Special Teams Player of the Month and totaled 6 touchdowns. In year 2, he saw a major decline in production, but year 3 flashed some glimmer of hope, totaling 10 touchdowns and becoming the first player to score at least 5 receiving touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns, and a punt return touchdown in a single season since Gale Sayers in 1965. Unfortunately, he never built off his momentum in the following 2 seasons with the Rams, and in 2018, the Rams traded him to the Dallas Cowboys. He played 2 seasons with Dallas with underwhelming performances. Then in 2020, he signed with the San Francisco 49ers, but was shortly placed on the IR and then later released. He then was picked up by the Green Bay Packers, playing in limited time before going back to the open market. His last time he saw the field was with the Jaguars in 2021, in which he appeared in 13 games, putting up minimal stats. And most recently, he signed with the Buffalo Bills shortly after being released. Now in 2022, Tavon Austin is currently a free agent. With the 9th pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the New York Jets selected Dee Milliner. Considered to be the best DB in this draft class, Milliner was viewed as an elite-level cornerback prospect with pro-ready size, great athleticism, and elite change of direction ability to be a lockdown corner in the NFL. Miller was named the starting cornerback for the Jets his rookie year alongside Antonio Cromartie. He played poorly, to say the least, and was benched 3 times during games due to his lackluster performance. However, he ended the season on a strong note, finishing with 3 interceptions in his last 2 games and earned AFC Defensive Player of the Week honors in Week 17, as well as the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Month honors. He only played in 3 games his second year as he suffered a torn Achilles. In 2015, he appeared in only 5 games, being the last time he saw the field. The Jets later then declined his 5th-year option, and later he was released in September of 2016. With the 10th pick of the 2013 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans selected Chance Warmack. After an outstanding season at Alabama, Warmack was viewed as a dominating guard and one of the elite talents in the class, with the idea of him sticking around for a long time. Warmack started all 16 games for Tennessee his rookie year and rated positively according to PFF. In 2014, he started all 16 games for the Tennessee Titans, and from weeks 11 to 15 was the 2nd highest rated guard in the league. The next 2 seasons, Warmack underperformed and Tennessee declined his 5th-year option. He later went on to sign with the Philadelphia Eagles, playing in limited action, but he won a Super Bowl with Philly. After a year away from football, he signed a 1-year deal with the Seahawks, but then opted out of the season due to COVID and later was released. Now, he currently is a free agent. The top 10 picks of the 2013 NFL Draft are known as one of the worst crops in recent draft memory. With factors due to suspensions, injuries, and just a lack of play, this will go down as a draft crop to forget. Beyond Lane Johnson, Ezekiel Ansah, and Eric Fisher, all of these guys are looked at as major busts and overall a terrible draft class through all 7 rounds.